usually when you think of a gate, you probably picture a defense, like a massive wooden door.
Yeah, maybe reinforced with iron bars, right?
Right. Something designed to keep the bad guys out while you just huddle safely inside.
It's the ultimate defensive structure, built to withstand a siege.
But what if that whole blueprint is entirely upside down? Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating historical and linguistic perspective.
We're looking at a June 9th devotional excerpt from Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris. We are just looking at the source material.
Yeah.
And this text takes one of the most famous phrases in the Bible from Matthew 16:14.
Right, the phrase, "the gates of hell shall not prevail against it."
Yeah, and the author completely flips the power dynamic of that verse based on, well, one simple misunderstanding of ancient city infrastructure.
It's so interesting because if you grew up going to Sunday school or, even just absorbed the cultural osmosis of that phrase, you probably pictured the church as a bunker under siege.
Just trying to survive the onslaught of darkness.
Exactly. But wait, hold on, though. A gate is literally a door, a barricade. How does a door go on the attack anyway?
That is the big question. It feels like a leap because, well, it is a leap. And that's exactly the misconception the text addresses.
Okay, let's unpack this. What did a gate actually mean back then?
So in ancient times, city gates were not just doors on hinges. They were actually the central plazas of the city.
Oh, wow. So not just an entry point.
Right. It's where civic leaders met, where court cases were settled, and crucially, where authority was exercised. It was the command center.
I see. So the gates of hell actually refers to the entrenched authority and control of the kingdom of darkness.
Exactly. Recovering that ancient context completely dismantles the idea of the church as a victim waiting to be rescued.
So if gates meant authority, we aren't talking about a battering ram at your front door. It's actually more like hell's courthouse or a capitol building, the actual seat of control.
That is spot on.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because if the gates are the established authority, the entire power dynamic of the verse flips.
It does. The verse points out a crucial timeline here. When Jesus spoke those words, the kingdom of darkness already existed.
It was the established power on earth.
Yes, and the church, on the other hand, was the brand new entity being introduced.
So it's not hell attacking the church at all.
No, it is the church advancing against the existing authority of darkness. And those existing gates cannot hold out against that advancement.
So instead of holding out against a storm, the text portrays the church as the storm itself, like an advancing force moving actively into enemy territory.
Precisely. It's a total paradigm shift.
So what does this all mean for the day-to-day? Because taking down a courthouse of darkness sounds epic, but how does this advancement actually happen practically?
Well, we're obviously not talking about literal medieval sieges here.
Right.
The source argues it happens through spiritual and practical mechanics, things like preaching the word, manifesting God's power, and transforming lives.
Okay, I'm still trying to connect those dots, though. How does preaching or changing a life act as a restraining force against a literal seat of civic authority?
That's a fair question.
It just feels a bit like, I don't know, bringing a megaphone to a sword fight.
I love that analogy. But think about how authority actually functions. It relies on influence, compliance, and systems of control.
Right, getting people to do what you want.
Exactly. So when lives are transformed by the gospel, you're systematically dismantling that influence from the ground up. It's more like flipping a light switch in a dark room.
Ah, I see. The light doesn't have to defend itself against the dark. It displaces it simply by existing and expanding.
Yes. By bringing light into these spaces, the influence of the kingdom of God expands. The force reframes the church from a surviving victim to a triumphant advancing force.
Pushing back those gates. Which brings us right back to you, the listener. The text defines ancient gates as places of control and decision-making.
So thinking beyond the ancient world, what are the modern gates in your own sphere?
Yeah, what are the entrenched systems of control or authority in your workplace, your community, or your industry? They might just be waiting for a positive, advancing force to challenge them.
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.